I'm sorry guys, but this is the first time I'm looking at this buckle design. Maybe I haven't been noticing much, but this is clearly different from the usual seatbelt buckles that we know of. Has there been a new homologation or something? Is it a new European thingy? And does this design improve on not having the seatbelts? Okay, they still do. Maybe they not, maybe don't. Good. I don't know. It's my first time looking at this new buckle design, and I think because the plastic is so big here, they could have printed a Honda logo there. You know, some advice for the supplier. You can do some branding there. You know, like a Civic word there. All right. Nothing much else. Yeah. Cheers. Hi guys, just stepped out. First thing, I look at the tire. No wonder, no wonder. Michelin Pilot Sport 4. Damn. Let me tell you this: if you tell someone that you make some ridiculous, you achieve some ridiculous time at a certain track, if you tell this to a professional, the first question they will ask you is what tires. If everybody understands that car really well, everybody has driven it, the first question they will ask you, what tires? Tires give you all the handling and braking and performance you need, to be honest. And my god, just now, all the corners that I turn in, the car just grips and turn in without those, you know, like I'll give some examples. Okay, bad tires, the ones that were spec'd in some of the Minis and some BMWs earlier on. Those what do you call that? Pirelli. I forgot the name. I mentioned them a few times. When I see them, I hate them. You know. Of course, not the P0. No, I forgot what's that name already. That Pirelli tire. It's horrible. Fitted on Minis. And then you have Mazdas fitted with Bridgestone Turanzas. Those are alright, but not this level. Not this level. Not the level of PS4. PS4 feels like what? My Extreme Sport Contact 5P PS4S as well. Fantastic tire. For Honda to put this tire in the Civic, I'm not sure if every single Honda Civic comes with this tire, because car makers don't usually tell you what tires they spec or put it in brochures, even though it's a fantastic selling point, because they might not always get the shipment they wanted, and sometimes they need to shift supply to other tire manufacturers, so they don't want to get sued by consumers, even though this makes up more value as compared to tinting, compared to your spoilers or your stupid diffusers or body kits and all that. They don't cost as much as tires, right? But tires are something that they can't control because of manufacturing, different supply batches and all that. Anyway, sorry for the babbling. To the untrained eye, there are no differences, and I am an untrained eye on Honda Civics. To me, it is still just as good looking as day one when I drove it in Thailand. It just has a very, very good looking design, even though zero premium looking design. You compare to the Mazda 3, it looks like a premium car, right? This one is all... Again, this is not a criticism, right? I know that Honda knows what they're doing. Okay, they did not attempt to try and recreate a C-Class copycat or a Lexus copycat or an Infiniti copycat. And you can say that about Mazdas. Alright, they are copying the design idioms of luxury cars because that's where they want to hit. But for Honda, no. They want to target and attack their target market, you know, the target market that is tech savvy, that is young adults, you know. They want sharp looking designs. They like their Adidas Yeezys, not their belly leather shoes and all that, right? They want to target that segment, and these are really lovely designs, to be honest. Very Japanese in a way, very Sony, very techy, industrial techy kind of look. And look at the shape of the headlamp. It's not your usual sharp angle headlamp, right? And then you have this grill piece that, you know, comes over here. It's a nice design, and of course now with the full LED headlamps, they look even better. Alright, this one is the camera. Alright, and Honda makes very practical solutions, and this, the lane watch thingy, when you flick your indicators to the left, this will show your blind spot, everything. And it is such a wonderful thing. I think all cars should have this feature, right? It is such a clever solution compared to your blind spot monitors and all that. You know, this is really clever. All right, and of all the sedans, I think Honda is very early in applying the fastback design. Right, this no longer looks like a sedan, to be honest. All right, if you take an Audi A7, an Audi A5, and this could be the smaller brother of that, because come on man, you call this a sedan? I don't call it a sedan anymore. This is a proper fastback design. Why? Because the sedan market is shrinking, and the default car as we know it, the default car, the buyers of the default family car has changed in taste from sedans to SUVs. So in order for you to build a sedan, what is the benefit of a sedan over an SUV? Ride height. If you have a lower center of gravity, you are able to corner better, right? And I did an article, I can put a link here, when I reviewed the Cayenne. I explained to everybody that the usual motoring enthusiasts or journalists who all claim that everybody's going SUV, blah 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 blah, they forgot one thing. Cars started off like SUVs as we know it today, because back then they don't have proper roads. They need the right height to cross terrains, right? That was the early days of car making. And when did they start lowering their body? When they start competing with one manufacturer against another to get more sales. Because when people start competing, you need a way to prove whose dicks is longer, right? And they go racing, and everybody race, and they race and crash their clumsy cars, which are tall. And a very famous car maker came up with a solution that forms the modern sedan or modern car as we know it, right? And that is yet again the guy who so-called invented the internal combustion engine motor car. It is Mercedes-Benz again, right? With the Mercedes 30 HP. That was the first car that came up with a low ride height, 3-box form factor, and is lower than any car in this era, and it win every single race. And it became so famous that the car company changed its name to that car, because the company used to be called Daimler Motoren-Gesellschaft, and Mercedes is the model. And that model was so successful, they decided to change the company name to Mercedes. Anyway, back to this car. So the sedan existed because of racing, right? And now that people no longer are interested in racing, when car makers, all of them don't race, what's the point of having a low slung car if you just want to ferry the family? That's why everybody goes back to SUVs, because they are more practical, they are larger, they can cross more terrains. So why do I talk all these grandmother stories? If you still want to sell a sedan, you have to appeal to those who value driving, to those who value handling, not just ferrying the family. That's why everybody is making their sedans sexier. And Honda was very, very early in this, in their C-segment Civic. I can argue even to the FD, it already no longer looks like a sedan with a sloping roof line and all that. The FD Civic, all right? Look at it. I can't call this a sedan, to be honest. Look at look at the boot lid. The size of the boot lid is like 1 feet. Do you still call this a sedan? Even though it still has an extremely large boot. Okay. Now the boot space is of course important. At the end of the day, it's still selling to people who most likely would only own one car, and that one car has to do everything. But to style it that way, to make it sportier, more dynamic, is what everyone is doing now. New Peugeot 508, frameless doors, sloping roofline. Volkswagen Arteon, right? Frameless doors, sloping roofline. Audi A5 as well. So maybe a suggestion to Honda would be, maybe the next Civic, maybe, just maybe, it could be a frameless door design. Anyway, see, that's the thing with non-premium cars. They don't really care about all these small little things sometimes. Yeah, it takes a little bit of a effort to close it. Nonetheless, a good looking car, a fantastic size. You look at the sloping roof line, you thought visibility is gonna be bad, but it's not. And then they put the side mirror here on the base of the A pillar. You thought you're gonna have a giant blind spot, but it's not, because Japanese are experts in all this, in vehicle packaging. There's just little contest. Alright, European car makers, they will not be able to extract that much space from this wheelbase. Trust me, they can't, but the Japanese can. And especially the best one in packaging, Honda. Alright, we always said that, sorry, I need to use my head. We always said that Mazda needs to nick a few Honda engineers to learn how they do packaging. Alright, now the entire door panel is just one piece of plastic, but it's not the cheapest type of plastic. In fact, it's a pleasant type, except that the inner moldings here have the molding lines to make it stronger. But I have no complaint, because nothing cuts your fingers. Right, it's lovely, and it's not lovely, but it's decent. Okay, this is another piece of plastic. Well, it's good that they have this inlay here. If not, this whole door bin, this door cut will look very dull. The leather seats that you have in here, again, after you experience proper real leather, to me, yes, black is good, black is easy to maintain, but come on, be a little bit more adventurous, I hope. But Honda tried that, and Honda's customers just can't, right? They tried that with the beautiful HRV with the white leather inserts, right? And everybody hated it, except me, right? Malaysians can't have nice things, right? This is a fake stitching, right? But it does what it does, because if this is leather, and if the stitching is on the same color as that leather, it's gonna look exactly the same, except that when you touch it, this is just some, it's still soft touch plastic, mind you. Soft, not super soft, but it's alright. Well, I mean, you don't have to make it like super squidgy, you know. If not, the sensation between the soft touch plastics versus the actual hard plastics would be very, very different. This one is rather okay. I mean, everywhere this is proper. Remember that day when I was in the 3 Series, I mentioned that those are rather cheap visors with a sharp edge. This one is not, but this is cloth, and alright, decent. Best one's still the ones from Kia. And room storage, right? I don't think you get a wireless charger. No, there's no wireless charger yet, but this is a nice compartment. Not super wide, but it's alright. I can put a Note 10 here. And then down here you have an access, see my finger? You can run your cables down or plug it in, right? Very practical solution. And here you can put your wallet and all that. And Honda is just very clever. And this doubles as a bridge for you to put your arm as an armrest. And then you can even pull this to support your arm better. Okay, and then inside here is a giant compartment. Look at that. You can even stuff a small handbag here, right? Then you have your cup holders. This is still one of the best designed cabins. I don't know how this works, but basically you'll be able to put 2 cups. Yeah, that's the gist of it. Alright, so it's a I think they added some rubberized material here. I don't remember this on the first Civic, when this Civic first came out. Okay, 12-volt socket here. It's not a beautiful center console, you notice that? It's not a pretty looking thing, but it's a very functional thing. Okay, let me shift my front seats to how I would sit it comfortably. Yep. Now, the thing with this car is that the seat base is rather shallow, even for the front seats, and there's not much of, in terms of, yeah, there's not much of lateral support, especially just now when I was driving like that, but for day to day it's alright. And this opening I don't think is wide enough for a big bottle, but it's alright. And there's nothing here. The speakers are here. There's nothing here, but why is this blocked away? And why, see that? I can't even, what is this for? Is this some hidden compartment for contrabands? I wish they could have utilized this part to make it a larger door bin. Yeah. Yep. Alright. Looks like metal, but it's not. You want a metal one, you have to go into the CX3. Okay, let's come to the rear seats. I'm able to slot my size 11 feet underneath. I'm able to put my size 11 feet in between the base of the seat, rear seat, and the rails. Very well packaged. And I still got some headroom. Okay, let me slouch a little bit. But you will notice the seat base, right? The seat base is, it feels like, yeah. That's why it feels spacious, you know. That's the thing with car makers who are clever in all this, right? This is effectively a smaller size seat, so that's why it feels spacious. It looks spacious because the seats themselves are small, right? My thighs are hanging there, and from pictures you won't be able to judge the scale, right? But effectively it is a smaller scale seat altogether. That's why the perception of space is there, right? But day to day, no complaints, alright? Okay, that's the armrest, nothing much going on here. It can't be compared or mentioned in the same breath as a Mazda these days. And in terms of interior, fit and finish, leather and all that, there's no perceptible difference between this and a local Malaysia car maker these days, okay? Finally, we have the floating roof that debuted with the Honda Civic. This somehow looks a little bit different from the one that I saw the original floating roof that debuted with this Civic, yeah, it's certainly different. It follows the same floating design, but it's not the same one. It looks smaller, it looks more integrated with the car, and I'm not sure if this is aerodynamically designed, to be honest, because yeah, just look at it. It's like a wall here. Maybe the wall creates a pressure zone pushing the car down. Maybe. No, no qualms here. Most of the time, premium cars would have this cordon off to put something behind, but to maximize the space for your boot, you just layer it with one layer of carpet to its extreme most contour. That will give you the largest boot without anything being cut off. Alright, and as for this, I have no complaints because the so-called premium car makers, Mercedes, BMW, Audis, all of them left this part bare and open as well, just to save a few cents of carpet, which I don't understand why. Alright, only Lexus seems to bother to cover it, and of course the ultra premiums like the Porsches, the Bentleys, Aston Martins and all that, they will cover this part. Yep, but only Lexus that I notice. Alright, down here you have a space saver. You have the toolkits all intuitively, ergonomically placed here, right? Some cars, right, it's like, okay, I saw the tires, but where's my toolkit, where's my jack and all that? Audi and Honda just packed everything here. Everything that you need for your tire is with your tire. Thank you for logic. And that's the triangle for when you stop your car. And of course, ouch! And this piece of soundproofing cardboard is rather thin when you compare it to that that's why, I mean, in terms of soundproofing, this cannot be compared or mentioned in the same breath as the Mazda 3. Okay, let's come inside here. The driver's seats still as ergonomic as it is. You know, buttons all logically placed. I think Honda does a better button job than Toyota. Toyota will always have some really heavy dosage of blank buttons and random placement of buttons, but Honda seems to do it slightly better. And I only see 2 blank spots, but I don't think these are blank buttons or optional. This is just left and right hand drive console, because if you look at the construction of the dashboard, Honda is also very, very smart. This part, you see this one, the bridge is independent from the back. What this means is that when they manufacture left or right hand drive, there's hardly a need to have a different one, provided the screen, maybe the buttons are over that side, I don't know. But generally speaking, the molding for this whole thing works for left and right hand drive. Alright, it's not like this plant manufactures left and right hand drive, but just in case, so they design it that way to save manufacturing costs in a smart way. Alright, as for the buttons, remember they have that, they have that touch sensitive thing. Have they cancelled that thing now and just leave it with let me try. Okay, is this touch sensitive? Okay, no longer. So it's just by button, you just press, right? Am I right? Oh, you mean I can't? Okay, see, it's no longer touch sensitive. I'm totally alright with this because this is logical. Alright, this is logical, and this changes your center screen. See that? So by pressing the info button, you can toggle across. You can go in and have my turbo meter. Of course not, it won't boost the turbo now, or would it show me anything. These are the pedal shifters. Not metal or whatever, but it's some pleasant, slightly rubberized kind of plastic material. It's alright. The buttons, they feel more like that of PlayStation game controller. Again, very Japanese, but they work, they function. Okay, everything works well. It's just there, you know. So another thing I want to commend that Honda actually did a good job, in my opinion, of having an LCD screen that does what it does, and then a permanent analog kind of display. You see there's depth there. Look at that. The indicators are individual lights, right, on there, and then at the back the silver element is actually another 3D object. This is what I meant by having depth and a properly designed cluster when I was reviewing the BMW 320i. It is just so basic and so simple. It looks like an A segment car. Okay, so yep, lovely. You can't find fault with this car. Very hard, very hard to find fault with this car, because it's just well executed in every sense. Alright, if I can complain, it will just be the infotainment screen doesn't live up to the reputation of this car. But again, Toyota and Honda seems to not be bothered too much with this yet. Alright, I hope they come up with a Honda kind of logic, because again, your infotainment system is the thing that you interact with your buyers the most when they drive the car. Apart from the steering wheel and all that, this is a good place to let them love you more, not just the steering wheel and the shifter. Now that every cars are automatic, we seldom touch this anymore, apart from parking and reversing. Now that most cars are electric steering, there is no feel from the steering wheel. They don't talk anymore, you know. The one thing that car makers seems to be able to get a foothold on letting customers cling to you is this. That's why you look at Proton, you know, you look at the China car makers, BMW, Mercedes, Mazdas and all that. This is what speaks about you the most now. And this one is a blank canvas for everybody to explore, and I hope Honda and Toyota put emphasis on this. Alright, lastly, this Civic has been in production for 5 years. Yeah, I know, I mean, there are so many complaints from customers on Honda's reliability and after sales service, since they are modern generation of cars with turbos, turbo this, hybrid jet, you know, a lot of high-tech stuff going into their cars, and they're very daring in introducing all this technology into a segment that don't usually have them. And they're facing the backlash with their customer complaints, the dropping of customer satisfactions and all that. But they are growing, and that's why they need to cope with it. And I think by now it should be very mature, all right, for this platform, for this car, for this engine and all that. So I think Honda can deal with it. I mean, we all know Honda is very capable in all this. They may face all that. I mean, just a month or two ago, they shut down a Facebook group full of owners complaining about their cars, and somehow Honda's decision was to send a cease and desist letter and just shut it down. And I'm not sure that is the best way, but I'm sure they know what to do to just keep the ball rolling. All right. At the end of the day, they are in the business to sell cars, and they have been the one that actually introduces a lot of value-added features into cars at that price point without increasing the price. Right? They give you turbo without increasing. I mean, in terms of the segment, right? They maintain the price, but then they introduce bum, all these things that most car makers in this price point don't dare to include or hasn't thought of it yet. And they are reaping the benefits of sales volume by this strategy now, because this strategy is what was being used by the European premium brands. They always introduce the newest technology in their segment, and then just to outspec each other. And Honda does it in this segment, and they are reaping the benefits. All right, but of course, with a huge increase in sales, you have to cater to the much larger number of customers who might be upgrading from even lower segment cars. All of a sudden they're getting all these features, and of course the complaints will come. you know, because we see stupid customers as well. There are a lot of people who would bring their car to the 4S center just because of a tire pressure warning gauge being light up. And imagine the time that was wasted on you just because you're being stupid, right? The time wasted for you. You have to go in there. Someone has to attend to you. You have to take a number. You know, they have to make sure a lot available for you just to go in there and check, blah blah. Just because we as Malaysians aren't willing to learn more knowledge on our cars, right? Every single thing we bring them to the 4S center because we're just afraid of exploring or googling it ourselves. All right, so yeah, anyway, that's my walk around review of this car, and I've done the driving. Fuck off, you bee. Yep, fuck off again, you bee. Shit. All right, I'm getting attacked by bees. Cheers guys, bye. Okay. Yeah, I seldom open the bonnet. I'll just do it for this. Okay. Holy mama, the lid is heavy. Can help me switch off the car. Help me lift this. Yeah. Okay. I'm so used to aluminium bonnets. Hey, Chiang, let's try another lubang. Take out, please. Can you take this out? Okay, I saw another lubang. Look at that! Look at that! Honda! There's two angles. Okay, maybe when they service the car, they want it to go up higher. And yep, that's the engine. 4-cylinder turbo. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be an engine cover, because yeah, that's how engines look these days, right? A lot of wires. In those days, you have an intake made of metal, and then there's the top. Wow, serious. No wonder cars are lighter these days. Damn. This is plastic. That's pretty amazing, right? Part of the engine block made of plastic. Yep, not aluminium or whatever, but just some super high grade plastics that can withstand the heat. Well, these are the wires. Down there, these are the coil packs, and then that will be the spark plugs. These Japanese engines they are designed for easy maintenance, right? You pop it up. Oh, you want to change the spark plugs? Pop, 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 pop. Just take out the coil packs, and then you can change the spark plugs and put it back. You know, everything is there. Everything is there. Your hands can reach everything. It's for ease of maintenance. Whereas the Europeans will think of a beautiful engine bay with beautiful pipings and all that, and then, you know, it's difficult to reach things to service. I see a lot of plastics replacing metal parts, and don't worry, Japanese have a good reputation for good plastics. I guess most car makers are now. My God, everything is just so accessible. This is a dream engine bay for mechanics who wants to go home sooner. This is just amazing, amazing, but it's horribly ugly. All right, when you open it up, it's just bleh, bleh, you know. Yeah, it's just ugly. But will car buyers now bother with a good looking engine bay anymore? People don't care, right? They hardly look at their engine bay as well. And that's the thing. What to do about it? Nothing you can do. Alright, so yep, that's the engine bay. Yeah, I wouldn't want to look at it for a second time. And this bonnet cover is so heavy. It's crazy. I've gotten used to aluminium hoods, and just now when I lift it, I can't believe how heavy this boy is. Wow, it's just damn. Nope. So it is the type where you have to abuse. No choice. Very, very heavy. Right, and the wipers continues the FD tradition. Nope. One goes this way, the other one goes this way as well. Unlike the FD where they both go up like that. Lovely. Right, touch buttons. Yep. Let's go. Cheers. Shouldn't it pulsate red before I start, then after I start then it keeps green or something? I don't know. Does it change color when I go eco mode? Nope. Alright guys, cheers.